We're on top of the pilot house, and this is Big Bertha, the main water turret of the boat. It basically has an 8-inch pipe, and right now we have a 5-inch tip on it. The 6-inch tip pumps 10,000 gallons a minute. The 5 probably 8,000, and we have a 4-inch, and it's probably a little less than 500 gallons a minute to throw it, and it throws it almost 500 feet if we need to. And the controls, there's the control to turn the thing on, and these two stanchions are the controllers for up, down, and sideways. The two controllers, the second one operates the one on the tower. So when they modernized this thing in the 60s, the tower turret can be operated from here by one man. Otherwise, it required 2 guys at each location. Now we're on the bow of the Ralph J. Scott. What we're looking at is called a rail standee, and these were taken off the boat in probably the 50s because one of them broke, and the firefighter holding the nozzle and aiming the nozzle was injured. So they decided that was not a good thing. So they were replaced by bulwark nozzles. There's 3 on each side, and they're good for about 500 gallons a minute each. Then there's 3 2.5-inch outlets on each side, and they're good for maybe 250, 300 gallons each. But there's usually, they were for the rail standees, but now they're just outlets for anything that the boat needs to supply water to. The bow turret, which is operated by hydraulically by one person, in it, it has a spray tip, and it's good for about 3,000 gallons a minute. This is a look at the starboard rail standee forward, and you can see it has a handle for manual operation, and it can go left, right, and up and down. And right beside it are the 3 2.5-inch outlets. These are the hose reels in front of the pilot house, and this one has about 1,000 feet of 2.5-inch hose on it, and they swivel sideways so that they can go either side to supply hose either for the crew on the boat or to run to a land source. Inside the pilot house, the controls that the pilot uses to operate the boat. And inside he has radios, depth finders, different things to operate the boat. And the rudder control is that lever right there that hydraulically controls where the rudder is. When he wants to step out to the side, he can use a smaller rudder control, and that way he can look out the side door and look at the side of the boat. Looking down the starboard side of the boat, you can see the ladder that goes to the top of the pilot house to operate Big Bertha. On the side of the boat is a doorway to the inside, which now is mostly filled with mufflers, but it used to be where all the nozzles were kept. On the starboard side of the boat, you can see three 3.5-inch outlets, and there's 3 on the port side also, to provide water to land fires. On the stern of the boat, you can see the 2 stainless steel controllers that to operate the 2 stainless steel turrets, so one man can operate both. In the old days, there were wheels, and it took 4 people to operate these 2 turrets. But with the modernization, one man can stand between those 2 controllers and control both turrets. And they're about 3,000 gallons each, and they have spray tips. And from here we can also see the tower. The turret at the tower can raise 12 feet and put a 3,000 gallon turret on the deck of a ship. So the low area is about 30 feet and it goes up to about 42 feet. Also on the stern of the boat are 2 dumper carts that have under wharf floats with 2.5-inch spray nozzles to provide a water curtain underneath a wooden wharf to prevent the spread of fire. And you can see that there's hose attached to the floats already, so they can be dumped overboard and used by the divers to fight an underwharf fire. Now we're going to take a quick look at the engine room. Above the engine room hatch, you can see that we have cans of AFFF foam and a couple of hose floats. And to get into the engine room is this stairway about midship. Starting in the engine room, there are 9 diesel engines in the engine room, and looking up forward behind this bulkhead is a 1,000 gallon fuel tank. And I'm going to pan over to engine number 1 on the starboard side. This is a V12 engine. And you can see the giant fire main pipes and the valves that are down in the engine room. Looking aft, you can see the pumps. These 2 engines are attached to these pumps permanently. This is one of the pumps on the starboard side. This is pump number 1. It's directly attached to engine number 1. And you can see the giant valves that are connected directly to the pump. And they lead directly up to the fire main. And this fire main operates all of the turrets on the deck. Here is pump number 3, Byron Jackson. Originally, they were designed to pump 1,750 gallons each, but the bigger diesel engines driving them, make them spin faster, so they're up to 3,000 gallons each. And you can see the giant pipes and the giant exhaust that goes to the exhaust stacks up above deck. And then right above us is the fire main connection to the pilot house turret that pumps 10,000 gallons a minute. Power on the boat is supplied by two 4-cylinder diesel engines driving 240 volt 3-phase generators to supply power to the boat. The aft engines are V12s, turbocharged diesel. These two engines, number 5 and number 6, pump and drive through the wing propellers. This is number 5, and you get an idea of the size of the engine because it's a V12, 700 horsepower. Engine number 7 only drives the propeller against the rudder in the stern, and the big water main in front is to supply water to both sides, to the fire mains on both sides, and to the giant outlets on the side of the boat, both starboard and port side. The electric panel under the boat takes power from both of the generators, or one at a time, and translates the power. The engines start on 12 volts. The lights are 110, and there are various other things on the boat, and it provides power each individually to the different parts of the boat. Off to the left, we see a sea chest and the valve that controls water coming and going from the sea chest into the pump. Here's the giant check valve that takes water from the pump and keeps it going one direction so it can't go back the wrong way. Then an on-off valve to control the water. And then it goes into the fire main. And the fire main goes throughout the boat, supply water to all of the turrets.